Tale of the Legend of the Longan Tree. Once upon a time, long ago. Long ago, there was a robber who robbed a lot of property and built a lot of houses, but still could not satisfy his greed. He not only wants to be rich, he also wants to be king. Crow Tin once told him, "To be king is not difficult, you just need to have a dragon eye attached to your eye." So he immediately told Crow Tin, "Then Crow Tin should go find it for me. I'm the eye of the dragon. I become king, I will give whatever Crow Tin wants." Crow Tin agreed but did not know where he would find the dragon's eyes. At the source of a large river, there was a poor child. "Every day I often go to the river to get water for my mother. One day I suddenly picked up a big egg. It was a dragon egg. That time, the mother dragon lost an egg without realizing it. The eggs are dragged away by the water. The eggs meet the stream. Eggs go down to meet the river. Eggs get into the baby's eyes. The baby's 2 hands held the egg and rushed home. A few days later, the eggs hatched. A baby dragon emerged. The baby was scared. The baby dragon immediately told his brother, "I'm not a snake, I'm a baby dragon. He let me live with him. I will help everyone." The baby asked the baby dragon, "Where is Mother Dragon?" "Dragons don't go looking for their mothers? Dragon relatives have a custom that if they get lost, they can live there on their own. Please let me share my mother with you." "Okay." The baby's mother knew about it and agreed to adopt Dragon as her child. She said, "You two must love each other for me to be happy." Every day the baby and the baby dragon go to bathe in the river. Every day the baby dragon practices water spraying. The little dragon said, "I practice spraying water so that in the future, on dry days, I can fly to get water to spray to help my mother and relatives plant rice and corn." The baby nodded. Evening came. The baby dragon flew halfway up the mountain, looking for a cloud to sleep. Early in the morning, the baby dragon flew back to his mother and brother. One day the baby and the baby dragon were bathing when the star crow flew over. Seeing the baby dragon, the tin crow stopped on a hidden tree branch to look. Crow Tin was very happy. "It's really a dragon, not a snake. Only dragons can spray water like that." He was so happy that he flew back to tell his owner. The robber was also very happy. It told Crow Tin, "Then go steal the baby dragon's eye and bring it back to me. I become king, whatever you want, I'll give it to you." Crow Tin was confused for a moment and then said, "But the baby dragon's strength can still fly much faster and farther than mine. Its claws are several times sharper than mine. You have to come with me to have a chance of stealing its eyes. If its eyes are gouged out, it won't be able to see, so it can fly after you. I can only take out one eye at a time. And the master only needs one dragon eye to become king. So what should I do? The baby dragon sleeps on a cloud halfway up the mountain. I took out the eye and immediately dropped it to the owner. If the baby dragon flies after me, I will say I don't know. The baby dragon will stop chasing me. The robber was worried, but he will fly to find me. Master, just wait for the dragon's eye, then crawl into a cluster of rattan trees and sit. The clouds are full of thorns. The baby dragon will be afraid and won't dare to go into it." The robber still couldn't stop worrying. "Am I going to have to sit there forever? I've lost one eye, The next day, the baby dragon's remaining eye will also be damaged. The baby dragon will be blind. At that time, the owner just left politely. But remember, you have to wrap the dragon's eyes in wet moss so that they can be attached to your eyes later. I remember. The robber and the tin crow left. Late that night, the baby dragon was sleeping soundly on a white cloud halfway up the mountain when he suddenly felt a sharp pain in one eye. The star crow used its sharp toenails to gouge out the baby dragon's right eye. It immediately dropped the young dragon's glowing eye down to its master. Its owner immediately held out a large racket woven from thin silk and picked it up as gently as catching a falling star. Then he carefully wrapped the precious eye in a handful of wet moss and crawled into a dense bush of rattan thorns, sitting there quietly. Up here, the baby dragon is flying chasing the star crow. Qua Tin ran away and shouted loudly, "Why are you chasing and beating me? I myself saw a huge falcon that had just gouged out your eye and flew to hide in the cave below." The baby dragon looked at Crow Tin's feet and beak. Seeing nothing, he thought it was Crow Tin speaking. "Real." The baby dragon returned. Where the eye was gouged out, red blood flowed. The robber sat silently in the rattan bush. When he saw the baby dragon's shadow coming back, he was so scared that he trembled. The baby dragon flew into the large cave. The cave is empty. As soon as the sky was bright, the baby dragon was so hurt that he flew to meet the baby at the riverbank. Seeing the baby dragon missing an eye, bleeding profusely, the baby felt so sorry for him. He hugged the baby dragon and cried, "Why is my body like this? I was sleeping when a bird came and stole my eye." "Yes. Find it." The baby immediately ran home, picked up his bow and arrow, took a small knife, and went up the high mountain with the baby dragon. Coming to the thorny rattan bush, the baby suddenly saw the robber sitting there crouching there. "Why are you sitting here? Have you seen any large falcons that often fly over here?" "Yes. Have. It just flew this way," the robber said, pointing upward. He accidentally let the dragon eye in his hand flash a little. The baby was about to leave, then suddenly stopped. "What do you have in your hand that lights up like a firefly?" Ah, that's right, fireflies. But why are there fireflies this season?" The baby immediately called out to the baby dragon who was still flying above. "Oh dragon! Here are my eyes." The robber knew he had been exposed and immediately took out the small axe and rushed out. The rattan thorns held him back. It took a while for him to get out. He swung the axe and slashed the baby's head. The baby quickly dodged and slipped through his hand and stabbed him in the armpit. He howled. He almost lost the baby dragon's eye that he still held tightly in his other hand. "Oh dragon! Please help me kill this guy." The robber ran away in panic. The baby dragon flew after him. The boy waited for the robber to run a few steps, then raised his bow and shot him right in the back of the head. It howled again and fell face down. The dragon's eye flew out, shining brightly like the evening star, then dimmed immediately afterward. The baby ran back and picked it up. "Stop ruining the baby dragon's eyes." The baby dragon's eyes were smeared with dirt and grit. The baby quickly ran to the stream to wash, but the baby dragon's eyes were already damaged. The baby dragon also flew down to the stream and lay next to the baby. Looking at his white eyes, the little dragon was very sad, but he did not want his brother to suffer because of him. The baby dragon said, "Don't worry. Even if I were blind, your voice would guide me to fly. Besides, I know every way and every path in this area." The baby sighed and said, "If Mom knew that I had lost my eyesight, she would be very sad." "Don't tell her. A few days is fine, how can I hide it forever?" "But hey. ... What do you say? ... I'm sleeping on a cloud, how could that robber steal my eyes?" "Yeah. Well, that's the star crow." The young dragon had not finished speaking when a black shadow suddenly swooped down from above and soared up. The broken dragon eye on the rock disappeared in the blink of an eye. Like a gust of wind, the baby dragon quickly chased after him. This time, Crow Tin has no way to deny and hide anymore. The baby dragon pulled the tin crow's neck back and placed it in front of the baby and said, "This monster stole my eyes for its owner." The baby looked at the star crow, immediately pulled out a knife as sharp as water and held it up. Suddenly I lowered down. "Hey, star crow. Why is the baby dragon's eye damaged? Why are you still trying to steal it and take it away for what purpose?" Qua Tin trembled, bowed her head profusely and said, "If you forgive me, I will say. ... You say it." Crow Tin quickly said, "I heard the fairy at Ngu Sak Mountain say, when the dragon's eye is broken, roll it in the ground, bury it exactly 1 hand deep, water it with milk for 10 days, water it with honey for 10 days, and it will grow into a tree. The tree will bear fruit. Among the tens of thousands of fruits, there will be 2 that can be attached to any blind dragon. The dragon's eyes will shine again as before." The baby immediately asked, "Your master is dead. Who are you going to bring this dragon eye back to?" "To my master's son. Because my master's son becomes king, just like my master becomes king. I will get whatever I want. I will temporarily spare your death, but you must go in and live in this cage of thorns. Then try to wait until the day your master's son becomes king." After that, I quickly ran home and asked my mother to gently roll the baby dragon's broken eye on a layer of smooth brown soil. The mother loved the baby dragon very much and tried to roll it gently. Knowing that the dragon's eyes were damaged, my mother was afraid that the dragon's eyes would hurt. After rolling it, my mother carefully buried it about 1 inch deep. For 10 consecutive days, my mother asked for milk from mothers in the area to water, 10 drops every morning. 10 days later, my mother asked for honey to water again, every morning exactly 10 drops. A seedling suddenly sprouted. Meanwhile, the baby dragon lost his other eye and had to practice flying every day. Fly closer, then fly farther. The baby came from the ground, showing the way for the baby dragon to learn to fly. In the early days, there were times when baby dragons flew wrongly and crashed into trees and rocks. It took me a while to get used to it. But the baby dragon still craves to see the sunlight, the sky and the earth, the trees and the river, especially the faces of his mother and brother. ... The baby dragon craves that but doesn't dare say it. I just know that I crave it more and more. The sprout growing from the dragon's eye grew rapidly. Exactly 12 months, the tree bears fruit. The fruit grows up, looking very much like a baby dragon's eye when rolling on the smooth brown soil. The wrong result is thousands, tens of thousands. One night at the end of June, very dark, the baby went out to look and saw that among those thousands and tens of thousands of fruits, 2 were shining brightly. I picked it down and peeled off all the outer bark. A pair of fresh, bright young dragon eyes appeared. I immediately called the baby dragon and attached it to the baby dragon. The baby dragon immediately regained its bright and beautiful eyes like before. The baby dragon was so happy to see the baby crying. The baby dragon's tears were so clear as dew drops halfway up the mountain. That year, the whole area dried up. The baby dragon just had time to regain his bright eyes so he could quickly fly to get water to spray for his grandmother. Children in rice and corn growing areas. The whole region was overjoyed. In addition to the 2 precious fruits that have already been picked, the remaining fruits, when taken down, are very fragrant and sweet. And after peeling off the earthy colored shell and clear pulp, peel off the black seed, which also looks very much like a dragon's eye. That fruit is today's longan fruit. Longan is the abbreviated name and the full name is longan. Long Nyan means dragon eyes. And also because in the past, in the summer, dragons often sprayed water to help people, so when they saw a lot of nyans, the elders often said that there would be a lot of rain that year and maybe the water would rise. Thank you for joining us for today's fairy tale. We hope these stories bring joy and meaning to your day. If you love our channel, please hit the subscribe button so you won't miss any exciting tales. Wishing you a good night and sweet dreams. See you in the next story.